Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, May 29, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know that there's been like in your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can still see the majority of the southern portions of the main development region is still being plagued by multiple tropical waves. We can also see that the area of low pressure that has been off the coast of the southeastern United States has now moved inland and is now affecting areas overland to areas like South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, getting in on that kind of weather. And we can also see that we still have that area of high pressure that's still sending a lot of easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see the clouds still spinning away right there across sections of South Carolina, North Carolina as well as Virginia, still bringing some amount of rainfall to those spots associated with that area of low pressure that the US National Hurricane Center has been watching for some time. We can also see that we have a lot of clouds right there across portion of the southern main development region associated with those multiple tropical waves that stretches all the way from Africa into sections of northern South America. So the intertropical convergence zone is right there as well. So it's not the season yet when we have all of those tropical waves moving northward and affecting majority of the lesser Antilles, then moving on to the central Caribbean and the western Caribbean. It's not that time as yet. Maybe by the time we get to July we see more of that happening, but for now we are in the clear in terms of that. But we might still get it on some one or two stray showers coming in from the main development region or the northern portion of the main development region coming to sections of the Leeward Islands, then the central and western Caribbean. Taking a look at the prediction that was made across Jamaica for today, we can see that we were expecting some afternoon rainfall across sections of some northern parishes in Jamaica. Then we'd have some of that rainfall spilling into sections of western Jamaica as well. And what ended up happening? A post was made on our Twitter page at 1:15 p.m. highlighting the infrared satellite images showing some isolated thunder showers, if not overcast skies, across sections of the very same spots. So western Jamaica and northern Jamaica. So we did indeed have some rainfall across sections of western Portland, sections of St. Mary, sections of St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth did indeed get in on some rainfall, and we even had some amount of rainfall right there across northern St. Andrew. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see where we had those low-level clouds being pushed from southeast to northwest. Then in the afternoon hours, when they became cumulonimbus clouds and they were towering up into the upper levels of the atmosphere, they started to be streaked out towards the east northeast by that upper level wind shear. And we can also see some clouds firing up right there across sections of St. James in the late evening hours up to recording hour right now. And we have confirmation on the infrared satellite images showing some amount of sparkling white dots and some brief isolated thunder showers across St. James at this time. And we even have some confirmation on the Doppler radar images that show some greens and yellows that represent moderate to heavy rainfall right there across sections of Hanover and St. James at this time. Alright, so we here at Weather Jamaica are pleased to announce our new partnership with the YouTube channel See Jamaica. See Jamaica is where they stream, well, we mainly watch the streams of specific areas in Jamaica, so areas like Crossroads, and they have live stream for many hours, up to 11 to 12 hours of live stream showing various areas in the corporate areas of Crossroads, Halfway Tree, and the newly installed Kingston Harbor. So we even have confirmation on these cameras that we had a mostly fair day, especially across the south coast. No one walking with any umbrellas. Everybody in Crossroads just walking around with the hot temperatures. We can see the horizon in the far distance. Clear skies, no rainfall at all across Crossroads. Halfway Tree, people hustling and bustling. Nothing to report weather wise, nobody walking with umbrellas at this time. But if we actually take a look at the Kingston Harbor stream, we can actually see where we had some of those clouds across section of northern St. Andrew might have brought in some amount of rainfall to the hills of northern St. Andrew right there. So maybe Stony Hill and those areas might have gotten in on some amount of isolated showers, and we indeed have these clouds and the live stream to confirm this. So ensure that if you want to see some more live streams like this, you go and subscribe and follow See Jamaica's YouTube channel, Crossroads, Halfway Tree, and the Kingston Harbor right there. And we're getting information that they're going to be installing cameras across many spots across the island very soon, so get ready for that and subscribe for now. And we'll be incorporating some more of these live streams in our videos and in our posts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for the future to confirm the rainfall, even we don't have the commenters confirming the rainfall. Alright, so to confirm the rainfall, we're taking a look at the image here from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, who is showing that we did indeed have some rainfall for the past 24 hours across Jamaica. So especially northern Jamaica is where we actually saw that rainfall, and maybe even section of western Jamaica, St. Elizabeth. So this indeed confirms the rainfall. So western Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, and Hanover definitely got in on some amount of rainfall for today. Taking a look at the temperatures for tonight, we can see that we have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and as usual, as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are having somewhat of a disagreement. For 1 p.m. on Tuesday, 18's actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday, we see that Jamaica is in the clear on the GFS. So we don't have any blues that represent below normal temperatures or any yellows that represent above normal temperature, so we're in the clear. While the Euro has some amount of yellows that represent slightly above normal temperatures. We shall see exactly what happens with that either way. We know that the average temperatures for the month of May across Jamaica is about 89 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 32 degrees Celsius. So if we're not getting the 32 degrees Celsius that the GFS is predicting, the Euro is saying maybe 33, 34 degrees Celsius. So get ready for that. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that Jamaica is still being blessed with a lot of moist air surrounding the island. So we're not getting any yellows that indicate the lowest end of dry air on the key. Then it gets to orange, then red, then the whites within those reds. Majority of the driest air is right there to the northern section of the North Atlantic to the northeast of the United States at this time. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that majority of the Saharan dust is right there across the main development region, especially the eastern portions and as well as sections of Africa, while Jamaica is still in the clear for 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can expect anywhere from 0 to 1 meter wave height surrounding the island for 12 p.m. on Tuesday on both the Euro and the GFS, and we have confirmation on both models due to the fact that the winds are still going to be coming in very light. You know that with the light winds, the temperatures are going to feel even hotter with the lack of sea breeze. So we see that the winds seem to be coming in more from the southeast, a southeasterly kind of fashion across the island. Anywhere from 5 to 10 knots is what we're expecting. And we know what happens in the afternoon hours, especially where we have the darker shades of blues, where we have that least amount of wind across the island. We have that daytime heating that leads to a buildup of clouds, which then in turn leads to the cumulonimbus clouds forming, the thunder clouds. And then what usually happens with these thunder clouds, they are being streaked off to whichever direction the upper level winds are blowing, and the upper level winds are still coming in from the southwest across the island. So considering that the low level flow has the clouds being pushed up to the north, and then the wind shear has the clouds being pushed up to the northeast, we're going to be seeing something similar to what has been happening for the past couple of weeks, where we have all of the clouds coming in from the south and affecting section of northern Jamaica, just like what we had today. And then the wind shear is going to be blowing all of that off toward the east or the northeast, and then it's basically that across northern Jamaica as usual. So get ready for that rainfall. Either way, if we're to get some rainfall for tonight across Jamaica or tomorrow morning, We know that the south and the eastern side of the island would be getting it first if we're still being plagued by that trough of low pressure. So we might have some rainfall coming in from the south or the east if we get some stray showers coming in from off the Caribbean Sea. But we know that when it comes to the afternoon hours on Tuesday afternoon, that's where we're going to be getting that afternoon convection. Taking a look at the precipitation forecast, we see some rainfall in the forecast. This is 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 a.m. Jamaica time. And what do we see? We see some blues that represent rainfall across sections of some southern coastal areas as well as eastern parishes in Jamaica. And we see that on both the Euro and the GFS malls. I know that when we have consensus like this, chances of it actually happening are much higher. And with the winds coming in from the southeast, there's a chance that this might even affect sections of the very south coast or the eastern parishes in Jamaica. But will it actually happen though? With consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are very high. Either way, let's watch and see what unfolds for tomorrow morning. Taking a look at some hours later, this is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 a.m. Jamaica time. And what do we see? Where do we see the agreement? Where do we see the consensus? We see it across sections of western Jamaica, the waters to the west of the island actually. So maybe some of it spilling into sections of Hanover and Westmoreland, maybe Negril getting in on some rainfall in the early morning 7 a.m. And we see something similar with that rainfall on the GFS. So will it actually happen? We don't usually see morning rainfall, especially on the west side of the island like this, but it's interesting that both the models are showing something like this. So we'll see exactly what happens. With that, I'm not 100% certain it will actually unfold, but let's see what the models are saying and what will actually happen tomorrow. I'm more in believing what the afternoon convection is showing, because daytime heating brings the usual rainfall, but morning rainfall not so much. But we'll see exactly what unfolds. Now let's take a look at the afternoon hours. We can see that 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time, are showing a lot of blue stretching from eastern to western Jamaica. We can even see the darker shades of blues across section of northern Jamaica on the GFS. The Euro showing the darker shades of blues, even greens and yellows in there. Look at that across sections of St. James. So we do have the consensus with the heaviest of the rainfall across sections of northern Jamaica. Even although on the Euro we have a huge gap between the rainfall across St. James and the rainfall across sections of Portland and St. Mary, with no rainfall across St. Anne. But there is some amount of disagreement because we see something else on the GFS malls. Either way, we're definitely in for some rainfall across the island on Tuesday afternoon, and especially with that upper level wind shear pushing off everything off toward the northeast, there's definitely some rain in store for some parts of the island for tomorrow, if not in the morning for the south and east, in the afternoon for the north and west. And the accumulated precipitation forecast confirms it. Both maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until let's say 10 p.m. on Tuesday, and we can even see some at least 1 inch of rainfall in there on both maps. 1.19 of an 1.919 inches of rainfall across section of St. James on the Euro. The GFS showing 1.1 inches of rainfall across section of Kingston right there. So we'll see exactly what unfolds. We have disagreement, we have agreement. Let's wait, let's watch and see. Either way, majority of the rainfall should be across section of northern Jamaica in the afternoon hours, and if it actually happens in the morning hours across section of southern and eastern Jamaica. And we're indeed grateful for the rainfall that we're going to be getting if it actually happens, considering that we're in the month of May. And although May hasn't been good, we're about to wrap up May, and although May hasn't been good to majority of the southern parishes for the entire month, let's hope that whatever June brings actually put a dent in this drought that we're experiencing. We're actually experiencing a hydrological drought, so we don't see much bushfires going on across the island at this time, but we're having a hydrological drought, which is causing the National Water Commission to impose some water restrictions on the public. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see a lot of clouds coming into sections of the northern section of South America. So section of Guyana, French Guyana, Suriname getting in on some amount of rainfall. Costa Rica, Panama as usual. Nicaragua, Honduras, just like what we predicted yesterday. We can also see a lot of cloud cover right there across sections of Yucatan, Cuba, Hispaniola. And we can also see a lot of cloud cover right there across sections of the northeastern Caribbean with some low patches of clouds coming into those spots. And we do indeed have confirmation on the Doppler radar images showing some amount of rainfall right there across maybe Guadeloupe, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin as usual. Maybe even sections of the US Virgin Islands getting on some rainfall. We've had some passing showers across sections of Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla. Had some slight rainfall across sections of northern and western Puerto Rico as well. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, you can see some amount of rainfall coming in from the east, affecting areas to the north of Barbados, the waters to the north. So sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines might get in on some rainfall if they haven't been getting some rainfall today. We can also see some rainfall passing to the south of Barbados, maybe heading into sections of Grenada as well. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see what we just saw on the satellite images with the rainfall across sections of the Yucatan, sections of Honduras. We can also see some rainfall right there across sections of northern Venezuela. The ABC Islands are in the clear right now. But look at Guyana getting in on a lot of heavy rain in inland areas of Guyana, sections of Suriname, sections of French Guyana getting in on some of that rainfall as well. We can also see some amount of rainfall surrounding the island of Cayman, the Caymans right there. Not much rainfall that they've been experiencing this season at all, but let's hope that there is change with that. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow for majority of the Caribbean, we should be expecting anywhere from average to slightly above normal temperatures, stretching all the way from the eastern Caribbean to Central America. While as it relates to the wave forecast, majority of the Caribbean should be experiencing anywhere from 0 to 1.5 meter wave heights at most. Majority of the Western Caribbean and the Gulf should be experiencing 0 to 0.5 of a meter wave heights. Taking a look at the wind forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that we're getting all of these low wave heights considering the wind coming in from the southeast or the east across majority of the Caribbean should be averaging anywhere from 5 to 15 knots at most, with majority of the winds across the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico should be averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 knots at most. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow. So both the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected across the Caribbean from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. And we can see the consensus, we can see the agreement on both models. Anywhere from the Greater Antilles westward and southward, that's where we're experiencing a lot of rainfall, up to an inch of rainfall that could lead to some isolated flash flooding. So we're looking at areas such as the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Hispaniola, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, sections of the Gulf of Mexico, portions of Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, portions of Trinidad, sections of Guyana, sections of French Guyana, sections of Suriname. We can also see some slight rainfall expected for sections of eastern Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, the northeastern Caribbean, Guadeloupe, Dominica might get in on some amount of slight rainfall as well. I know that when we have consensus on both maps like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.